Yeah, I got three packets and three agenda. Which one are we doing first?
Call to order. The Joint Planning and Zoning Commission special meeting. At this time, we're gonna have a roll, the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance. Okay, roll call. Commission. Tony Christie.
Maury Bishop.
Aaron Chasson.
Wade Check Snyder.
Do the staff want to do
Staff.
Patrice Johnson, zoning secretary.
Cody Martin, the attorney for the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Jerome Fournier, Director of Planning and Development.
Lance Brock, zoning official.
Eric Poche, Parish Planner.
Sean Chereau, engineering review agency.
Okay, this is a public hearing to recommend or approve or deny to the parish council to consider the following: zoning review, IDPZ-1413.17, track A1, A2, and A3 of the subdivision of track A, into track A1, track A2, and track A3 for Industrial Design Incorporated, Spud Major Use Change. This is located on the west side of Louisiana Highway 73, approximately 1,200 feet north of Louisiana Highway 621, to request a major use change. We have any comments from the?
Well, we'll let the applicant who's here present. Allow the applicant who's here to present the change.
You have the applicants.
Good evening. I'm Peyton Grant with the Baton Rouge General.
And I'm Kendall Johnson. I'm the Chief Financial Officer with Baton Rouge General.
As you said, we're proposing a micro hospital, a neighborhood hospital at LA 73 and I-10. A hospital of that sort is about 20,000 square feet footprint, very much like the SPUD that we submitted, about the size of a Walgreens or CVT drugstore. The remaining building, second and third floor, will remain as a medical office use. So as we developed our plans, we found the need for this micro hospital, which is emergency rooms, diagnostics lab, and a 10-bed inpatient hospital. When we went to our DHH representative, they told us that it would be classified now as a hospital versus medical office use. So our request today is to change from medical office use to medical office/hospital use. No surgery will take place at this hospital. It's a micro neighborhood hospital for the benefit of the citizens of Ascension.
We have any comment from our commission?
Public hearing.
Public hearing.
Diane.
You can go ahead and open the floor for public hearings.
Staff's comments.
Staff comments?
Staff doesn't have any comments, but we're available to answer questions should they arise after the public hearing comment period.
Let's open the public hearing.
Yeah, Mr. Christie, make the announcement that if anybody wants to speak, to please
Yeah,
give their
any
call to
comments?
Mr.
If you have your
Patrice.
public comments, you just turn the card into the secretary? Yeah.
And then ask Patrice to call. Ask Patrice to call.
Okay. Patrice, you can call them at one at a time.
Ernest Gradney.
You can go ahead, sir.
Okay. I'm Ernest Gradney, and I've been elected to represent the quarters at Dutchtown. We, as a neighborhood there, had some concerns, as, you know, we've indicated on the leaflets that are being passed out to you. You know, of course, we are in support of the hospital or the facility, and the concerns that we have are listed on the paper there. Number one is traffic. Number two, the ingress and egress to our property. And of course, the third one, security, privacy fence and lighting. You know, we'd like to know where or how that will be addressed, you know, because it could become a very, you know, much concern for us, you know, as time goes, you know, when this thing is up and going. So that is, you know, what we're here today for. We're here to show support, but also we're here to question how these things will be addressed.
Okay,
Gotcha.
Okay.
all right.
Now, are you all familiar with quarters of Dutchtown? You know where it's located?
Yes, sir. That's the one that's located on the north side of
Right.
the property.
Very good. All right. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Oscar Laredo.
Good afternoon, Council. How are you? Let's see. So I'm against this proposal for a new hospital. The general has not proven that they really want to invest in our community as a whole. By bringing just the change they did, instead of a hospital, it's, just becoming a clinic or a physician area, that would mean that there will be selecting the population they want to take as a whole. Meaning then, with our already full running hospital, St. Elizabeth, will push these high-paying individuals to this surgical center, crack-in-the-box hospital, taking away a lot of the jobs here in our community. This is going to negatively affect us directly, indirectly, by shutting down some of the units in St. Elizabeth, indirectly by some of the suppliers or supporters that do work around the hospital. They're not investing. If they will be really trying to invest in this community, they will build a full-blown hospital that will take care of everyone, not just individuals that could afford the care. So you're talking about our Medicaid, our Medicare, our indigent care that do not have any care. So that's my only worry, that they're not really fully prepared to invest in this community. They're only selecting certain individuals to go to their hospital. Thank you.
That's it.
I think somebody else had a few.
Yeah.
Check and make sure it's kind of.
Someone raise their hand. Did you fill out a card?
No,
Was
you
it
can go
time? You can come forward then.
Just before you start speaking, just state your name and address into the record
Sure.
so Ms. Patrice can get it down.
My name is Valerie Muhammad, and I live at the compound that's going to be directly adjacent to the proposed hospital, and I'm against the hospital. The purpose is, I don't see, unless they can explain further, a full justification or need for the hospital. Logistically speaking, yes, St. Elizabeth is the only hospital in Ascension Parish, but we do have, within 7 miles, we have Baton Rouge General, major facility, only 5 miles away, and then 6 or 7 miles away we have Our Lady of the Lake. On either side of the interstate, we also have 2 urgent cares that will take care of any kind of urgent needs. And are they planning a specific population or a particular service that none of those facilities offer? Because otherwise, we're negatively impacted. We just had, speaking not just for myself in this complex, but along this area, we just had a major renovation to go from 2 lanes to 3 lanes. That in and of itself is inadequate for our current traffic obligation. If we increase the facilities that are available on this area, then that's also going to bring subsequent traffic increase. How are they going to impact or improve the traffic situation? There isn't enough servitude on either side. There are private homes on either side that will be negatively impacted should you have to widen it. Is there going to be a light? Will there be 24-hour openings? Will there be traffic coming in and out? There are backup generators. There's the noise pollution to be taken care of. There's the ecological standpoint. When you take away additional green space, you increase the chances of flooding. We just experienced a major issue with flooding in this area. You cover all of that with concrete. Where does the water go? So as you're changing the landscape, you not only affect just that piece of land, you affect a lot of things around it. So there's the traffic, there's the ecological standpoint, there's the noise standpoint, there's the loss of access on both sides to people's homes, or the protection. How do you, in good faith, propose to widen a street that we just had widened and put moving traffic so close to people's homes? If they can address all of these things and show where their facility brings a service that we don't have access to within 10 miles, then yes, maybe we should consider that. But I think to broaden care. Okay, thank you.
How y'all doing? First off, I'm for Baton Rouge General to be built here, because sometimes people don't understand. Get up on that interstate, that 7 minutes might be 45 minutes to an hour getting to a facility for help, especially if you had a heart attack. Getting over to St. Elizabeth with the traffic jam we got now, that might take an hour to get there. So I'm all for this hospital be built.
See if anybody else, and then close it. See if anybody else.
Close it. All right, we're going to close public comment. You want to give them a chance to rebuttal?
Yeah. I've got
A
some
rebuttal.
questions I'd like to ask.
Yeah.
Same here. Go ahead.
So one of the things that I want to address, and I think two of the speakers brought it up, is that this hospital will be licensed as Department of Baton Rouge General, so EMTALA will apply. That means that we have to accept all patients who present, whether they're uninsured, whether they have Medicaid, Medicare, or have other forms of insurance. We will accept all patients at this facility. The other comment that was brought up is about doing something different than what was available. Yes, there are 2 urgent cares that are around. Those urgent cares aren't open 24/7. These facilities will be open 24/7 and will bring full diagnostic capability. So that means we're going to have CT, we'll have ultrasound, X-ray. These are services these urgent cares don't provide.
This is Mike Bruce with Stantec. He'll address the traffic concerns.
Thank you. Yes, traffic is obviously a challenge in this area. The good news in this case is the new use actually produces about 20% less peak hour traffic, which is important. I know there's some other issues relative to traffic as far as turning and that type of thing. We decided in our reevaluation of this to go ahead and build a right turn lane for the incoming traffic. And obviously a left turn lane already exists for the on 73, so that will work. We're also going to provide sidewalks for pedestrian traffic, hopefully to be connected. Also, we've analyzed the traffic, and we think we can make the operation at the interstate work better through signal timing, but there's no simple solution to the amount of traffic here that this particular project can pay for, no cost-effective solution. So we're doing everything we can, including a sizable traffic impact fee of over $300,000, which can be pooled with other traffic impact fees, obviously, as the city's, at the parish's discretion to use as needed. But we think we've done everything we could reasonably on traffic.
Okay. Question?
I got a question for you. I mean, I'm looking at the site plan, and where are the ambulances going to go? Where do they go on the site plan?
They go to
am I
the back
missing
of the
something?
building, down the, I guess that's the north side, down to the back of the building. Yeah, you see the entry,
Where it says cover drop off?
sir? No, I'm sorry. show us
That hasn't been working.
Maybe I'm looking at the,
that. Yeah, the ambulances actually are going to come to the back of the building right here and drop off.
all right. So there'll be a covered area for those ambulances to pull in?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, what about your north property line? Have you thought about privacy fence or anything like that to separate you from the adjacent condos?
Yeah, well, we're currently showing some heavy landscaping there, but
Right.
we're open to any device there that would help the adjacent neighborhood. Of course, we're sensitive to that.
Right. So you wouldn't be offended if I put a condition of approval that says you got to build an opaque, 6-foot tall opaque fence along that north property line?
No, sir, I wouldn't.
To put a 6-foot tall opaque wood fence, privacy fence along the north property line, keep anybody from wandering next door onto the condos. No, it doesn't do anything for the noise. It just affords privacy.
Well, whenever it does come to noise, the support staff, the development is recommending quite a lot of large type 1 true trees, which eventually that will help, sounds like it will definitely help absorb quite a bit of the noise. One thing I wanted to ask you, and they did mention it, the right turn lane that you were talking about, could you go into a little bit more depth? That sounds more, something along the lines of more like a deceleration lane coming in off of 73.
Yes, sir, exactly. We'll have a 165-foot taper, 150-foot of storage for right turners coming off of 73 into the site. And that'll remove them from the through traffic, so they won't be slowing down any traffic as they turn right.
Are you going to have any other type of entrance, well, more like an entrance back into 73 for the south side perhaps, or even the middle north side? Are you going to have any extension on that, on your full plan?
We analyzed an acceleration lane and didn't see any value in it because turning vehicles onto 73 obviously would pull out when there are appropriate gaps, and the acceleration lane probably wouldn't have any effect on whether you'd slow down traffic. So we didn't see a need for that expense.
Okay. And on your plans right now, they show no visual obstructions. I assume that you're going to keep it that way, where you would have anything extra, possibly even pushed further back, so you can have, full visual use of oncoming lanes?
Absolutely. We'll check the site triangles to make sure we have great sight distance.
Okay. One of the other things you mentioned were the additional walkways. I'm assuming that that would possibly go toward the quarters of Dutchtown for pedestrian traffic. Do you have any plans on improving that around the entire property or anything like that?
This is a recent addition, and the idea is for us to put sidewalks along the front of this property, and hopefully that others will continue those sidewalks, the adjacent property owners. But we'll work with the adjacent properties to see if they can be coordinated in a better way.
What sort of rain event will your dry detention area accommodate?
Detention, what are we designed for?
The stormwater management for this site was utilized using the parish drainage requirements. I'm sorry, Andre Rodriguez with Stantec. And we sized it for the 10-year plus the 25, and also to accommodate a 100-year event. It does have detention for both sides, east and west, towards Jefferson and towards the interstate drainage systems to fully detain the system so that it has a post-development flow rate that is below or equal to the existing current conditions flow rates right now. And again, that was detention size for a 10 and a 25-year, and then also for an 100-year storm, so that it doesn't overflow.
Question real quick. Am I correct to assume that they have a lot of, I think Cajun Contractors was the previous owner of the site. Did that site area flood in last year's storm?
We rode out to check the site, and no, sir, it was not wet.
It just doesn't ask questions.
And just, I guess, so the public's aware, because I think there may be a little confusion over what we are and are not doing here. There was already a building approved for this location probably about a year and a half ago. So we're not here to approve whether or not this building can or cannot go here. I actually voted against it originally because of the potential traffic issues. All we're voting on here now is whether to recommend to the parish council, who has final approval on this, to allow them to change the use or planned use of the bottom floor from office space to essentially an emergency room with some observation areas, as I understand it. So that's really all we're doing here today. We're not really here to analyze whether, or tell them whether they can or cannot build a building. If the parish council denies the change, they could still put a 3-story, 4-story, whatever it was, medical office complex there. The thing I'm curious about, because the issue that concerned me when I voted against this originally, when it was going to be all office space, was there was about an extra, if I remember correctly, 2 to 2.5 minute traffic impact of extra time that it was going to take people on 73 to get onto the interstate. Is my understanding that's being reduced now because we're changing the use?
Correct. We've reduced the amount of traffic in the AM by 18% and the PM by 20%. So in addition to, of course, the future interstate widening, we think there'll be a significant reduction in the total delays based on compared to the original approved use.
Right, and just for the clarification for everybody who's listening, you're not going to be reducing the traffic on 73. You're reducing the impact. This version of the building will have less impact than the version that's already been approved. Correct. So if we don't approve the change and you go ahead with what's already been approved, it'll actually create a bigger traffic issue than what this version of the plan will create.
Correct.
With them, Mr. Chair, I'm going to, let me get to a motion here, but before I do that, I never knew that in the medical profession they had this little, I would say, neighborhood hospitals with emergency rooms. But recently I had a very personal experience with my middle son, took ill in Jacksonville, Florida, and it turns out that one of the major hospitals in Jacksonville has a series of these hospitals dispersed throughout the city. And thank God they had one of these, because they were able to stabilize them before they moved them on to the big hospital where they could fully take care of them. I think the people of Ascension Parish are really going to learn to benefit from this, and what a great opportunity it brings them for a far improved form of health care, where they're going to be able to go to a neighborhood facility, get urgent care, get stabilized, and hopefully they get treated there, or if it's serious enough, get shipped to a larger facility where they can do greater extent of medical care. With that, I would like to make a motion to recommend to the Parish Council approval of the change of use and the change of the plan. The only condition of approval is that they construct a privacy fence along the north property line.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Actually, any opposition?
Any opposition? So
Hearing
carried.
none, motion passes.
The motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Adjourn.